Howdy, everybody. Welcome back to The Link. It is 7:39, and in the Zoom room, we have the president of the Mayor's Council of Guam, PD Mayor Jesse Alig. Good morning, Mayor.
Day. Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's the rain has subsided a little bit, so that's a good thing. Over the weekend, it was really rough on us here in PD.
Right.
And our soil is just saturated, and you know what happens when that occurs. And so, thankfully, we didn't have any real big issues in the village, other than, of course, the Polaris Point. I mean, that's a constant. I think when it's kind of like Molesto, as soon as it rains for hours on end, you kind of want to have to find an alternate route and not go through Polaris Point. If you live in Molesto, I don't want to make light of that, but head to the hills, right?
Higher ground.
Yeah, higher ground. Yeah.
Well, we certainly appreciate you,
okay.
Always coming on here on Monday to give us the latest updates, and considering the fact that this is actually a busy week for the Mayor's Council of Guam, as if it's ever not busy. But you've got the village booster clinics that ramp up this week.
Right. So today we're in Sinajana. I'm excited to see how that's gonna go. I'm really praying that it will go smoothly. I know on Eventbrite there's still some available appointment slots, so Manamco can still give us a call to get signed up until 1:30. 1 o'clock is the last appointment slot, so that they'll have enough time to get their booster shot and have the time for the evaluation afterward. One of the things I know that I announced earlier was that we'll be doing testing at the site as well. So if there's anyone 65 or older who's not feeling well for whatever reason, or has flu-like symptoms or cold, feels like they're coming down with a cold, go over to the village clinic and get tested. And the nurses there will certainly assist you and take you to if it's a government isolation facility or what have you, or receive the monoclonal antibody treatment, then that is all going to be available for our Manamco at these clinics. And so it's certainly going to be, I feel, a thorough clinic for our 65-year and older residents. And so please take advantage of the clinics that we're setting up in the village. I do want to say, though, that UOG still, is doing the ongoing booster clinics, and that's booster shots, but that's for everyone else other than our Manamco, simply because we want to be able to be as available and as convenient for our Manamco, and that's the reason why we've set up these village clinics.
Right, and so, just for clarification, this is only the booster shot, the Pfizer vaccine. Manamco shouldn't go up to the centers for the third dose, for that third shot, right? This is just booster?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
And so
now
go ahead.
The clinics will also have Pfizer 1 and 2, Moderna 1 and 2 available.
Okay. So anybody that needs to get vaccinated.
That's correct.
So what do they need to bring with them?
You need a photo ID, and if you're taking your booster shot, you definitely need your vaccine card, your vaccination card, to prove your first and second dose, simply because that vaccination card needs to get stamped that you received the booster shot. Just like in any vaccination you would receive at the doctor, even as a child, remember those vaccination cards. So we kind of we know that, and those of us that those residents that are 65 and older certainly remember those cards. And so it's the same deal. You need to bring your vaccination card. If you don't have your vaccination card because you've misplaced it or for whatever reason, you certainly can apply for a replacement card. And that, again, if you need help with that, you certainly can call your mayor's office, and they can assist you with how to request for a replacement card. And one of the reasons why it's spread out these clinics for our Manamco is because of that situation. If there's a resident who perhaps misplaced their card or needs a replacement card for any reason, there's time to get that replacement card and still get your vaccination, your booster shot at the village clinic, rather than having to go all to UOG if it's of course farther for you. Yeah.
Are you
So
guys
we're
still
open.
are you guys still calling out to constituents for to get
No, I
tested
don't
or?
believe anyone else is. I don't believe the officers are making those phone calls anymore. I do know that they continue to address the isolated areas as far as the come on, what is the term? You know what it is. Chris knows what it is. Uh, the term. Oh my goodness, there's so many different terms that we deal with these days. The rapid engagement team.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, that's still being that's still being stood up at different areas for sure.
Okay.
And so that's not. I'm not saying it's not public information, but we don't know what happens. We don't know how many there are, but we do know that they work specifically with the mayor, and then the mayor takes them to those areas.
Mm-hmm.
So that still happens. Yes.
So we know that you guys are having these booster clinics and where Manamka can also get their vaccinations. But what about for homebound vaccinations for our elderly who can't actually physically make it to these clinics?
Okay. So homebound requests for vaccination, whether it's 1, 2, or booster shot, you call 311 option 2. And I don't know if you know, but you need to know that 311 is open Monday. 311 option 2 for vaccination scheduling for the homebound is only open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to noon and from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. It's October 11, 2021. I'm just letting you know, at least I just found out on Friday that 311 is open. 311 option 2 is only open Monday through Friday, 8 to 12 and 1 to 5. And I'm saying that because on Friday, my office was kind of like Grand Central Station for
Right.
all the phone calls. And I was answering phone calls too, and all I was getting was, Ava, 311, 311. Oh boy.
Boy, that's
So
that's been the recurring theme of this pandemic is no one answers their phones.
correct. And so I called because so Cedars, UOG Cedars actually takes care of option 2. Michelle Agege is our POC for that. And in case you guys have any questions, I can certainly give you her number. And if she tells you she's not the POC, then just apologize for me. But I know we call her. And so they did confirm that option 2, because they handle all the intake for the vaccination, homebound vaccination, is only open Monday through Friday, 8 to 12 and 1 to 5. Additionally, though, I want to tell you guys that if transportation services are necessary for a Manuncle for these clinics, they can also call 311 option 2. And so GRTA is the partner in this, and they can schedule the transportation of our Manuncle to the village clinic for the booster shot, or even if it's vaccination 1 or 2.
Okay.
So that's an update.
So since the announcement was made about the booster clinic, has there been a lot of people calling aside from just your office? What have you been hearing from your colleagues?
You know what? Everyone's been. I haven't really heard of any complications from my colleagues. Most of them were dealing with the rain over the weekend.
Yeah.
But on Friday, certainly, I have to say that my office was very busy with the phone calls, and not everyone was making an appointment, but there were many questions. So I could imagine the other offices as well. I don't believe there were any issues, any real issues. I didn't hear of any real issues.
Okay.
Regarding the village clinic. There was an issue though over the weekend about a patient going from one government facility to another. So the patient was at GMH and was transported to the isolation facility because testing positive, and after they were tested and ready for release from the isolation facility, there was no transportation readily available for that patient to be returned to GMH. But I do have to say that the new team of public health people that we're working with, because of the vaccination clinics, have been very responsive, and they did clarify that it is possible that if you're from between government to government facilities, that transportation is certainly available, and that we just need to work with the isolation facility or with GMH if it's necessary. So I know that was a big deal because the resident lived further away from Tumuning or from Tumon, and did not have relatives who had a vehicle to pick them up, and the only vehicle was parked at GMH, and so that became an issue. So we know that it was resolved, and for anyone who is having an issue with transportation between government to government facilities, work with the nurses and the assistants there at the facilities, and it was taken care of. Yeah.
I know this is probably far off, but what is the update on the senior centers reopening? It's just...
Yeah, that's. I mean, I take a deep breath there because that's just such a big deal because we're not ready. None of us are really ready to operate the centers. And if we're going to do clinics like what we're doing today, that takes away from our staff. One of the things, Bree, is that because we're doing this, we're also putting forth 15 to 20 staff at the facility, which takes away from our duties. So we have to shuffle our duties for these specific days so that we can assist public health in managing the clinics, as efficiently as possible. And so, I certainly pray for the workers over at Sinajana today, because this will definitely be our trial. And if there are any kinks, we'll certainly have to work that out. But I am confident that between Mayors Hoffman, Cruz, and McDonald, that it'll work out. So again, so asking about the senior centers, it's kind of difficult to say when we're going to open at this point, simply because we're all working different angles. We're all doing different tasks. So it's hard to, and we don't want to. And again, since the very beginning, our claim was that we weren't going to open until we could accept 100% participation for our Manamco. And even if some were able to open, we wouldn't be able to accept 100%, simply because, one, we don't have enough manpower, and two, the facilities are not yet prepared for it. I do have to say that there are some villages who are helping their Manamco in different ways. Either they're providing other activities or reaching out to them. And so I do know that we remain active in communicating with our Manamco. And if there's anyone that, they typically know that they can reach out to us, our Manamco, those that are participants in the program.
So doing all the work that you guys can continue to do, and since you've been doing since the start of the response, what's the update on COVID differential pay?
Yeah, same status quo. There's no update. I have not seen a memo of any sort that tells us that the pay will be processed. The timesheets continue to be submitted just in case there's money available, and when the money is available, they'll pay it out, I'm sure. Again, we'll wait. Our people will wait.
And just as a reminder, just refresh my memory, what are you guys on? What's the date last time you guys got paid?
Oh gosh, I don't want to misspeak on that. I don't recall. It's been several pay periods so far. I venture to say over a month.
Has the Mayor's Council ever gotten any ARP money yet?
No, not that I'm aware. No, not at all. And I say that also because last week we had a hearing on Bill 196, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, it is 196, and that was the $500,000 per district from the earned income tax credit reimbursement. And of course, that's a big deal, because is it money that's available? Are we spending money? Are we appropriating money that may not even come to us? All of that is being discussed at the legislature, right, at that level. But for us as the Mayor's Council, $500,000 for each of us will certainly go a long way in the things that we need to accomplish. And if there are no American Rescue Plan money coming our way, then at least we do have, another source of money that can help us with our facilities. And so this Bill 196, the public hearing was actually, I was encouraged by it because it seemed like those senators that were there were supportive of the idea that the 19 villages will receive a portion of this money from the reimbursement if it should come. I am even more encouraged that there was a senator that asked for a plan, because I agree that we have to be accountable for the money that we receive. And if it's 500,000 for us, that's a large sum of money for operations. I mean, most of us receive, for us in PD, it's 51,000 for operations this fiscal year. And so 500,000 is a whole lot of money. And I totally agree with the senator that made the request to have a plan for this money and let that be a part of this bill, so that should it pass, for whatever reason, whether we receive ARP money or not, at least there is a plan specifically for 500,000 from Bill 196. So, we'll always fight for the money that we can get, whatever money is available, simply because we're not always top on the list, and sometimes we understand it. Other times we wonder why. But in this case, as long as there's options for us, we're certainly going to look for them and certainly going to tap into those options.
Mayor, when you said you're not calling the residents anymore, because that was kind of like a big deal when you guys started doing it. What happened in the handoff? Was public health just like, oh no, we're good, we got this now, or?
Oh no, I think everyone was able to get to, to get to the target areas that were necessary. I think that's what it is. Not that, every resident was called. I don't believe every resident was called, but I do know that the areas that we felt were most in need were contacted. And that was kind of the end of it all, really.
Okay.
I did want to follow up on the foster care initiative that the Mayor's Council was supposed to be talking about last week, Friday. What's the update?
So there's the update is that we're working on the program, on the campaign, and that we're hoping to launch fully this month through November, and have these informational meetings in November for our prospective candidates for foster parents, whether they're individuals or they're couples or families. And we'll have more information on it as far as by next week for sure. This week I know we're finalizing all our details on the campaign. It was brought up at the meeting because it's a council approved campaign, meaning all 26 members are on board and are willing to be a part of this recruitment effort. And it really is a real hard recruitment effort to look for interested and viable foster parents for our children. We know that there's hundreds out there that need a home, and we know that the shelters, the government-run shelters that we currently have are full, and the nonprofit organizations that support the mission also are full. And we see these children almost on a daily basis, the neglected and the abused. And sometimes, it's hard to deal with all the situations that we deal with, that we encounter every day. But if we're focused on other things in the village, like trash and stray animals, what about our own people and the lives of these children? And so it's truly the intent of the Mayor's Council to, as opposed to focusing on a Christmas party and focusing our money on celebrating ourselves at Christmas, that we try to put together families for our children. And so the campaign is called The Gift of Family, and it's simply because we want to provide this gift of family for our children, our foster children. And so we'll know more. We'll certainly be able to share more of the details on the program by next week. But it's fun. I say it's fun because it gets everyone in the Christmas mood, I think, when it comes to planning our Christmas event in December for the campaign. But at the same time, it gets everyone asking questions about being a foster parent, and whether it's for emergency placement overnight, a couple days, or whether it's a little long-term foster care, perhaps even if it's adoption. I mean, if it gets to that, right? And so there's certainly people out there who are questioning, people who are thinking about it, discerning the idea of fostering, and we just really need to get the word out, and we need to reach those people. And hey, the meetings that we're going to have in November are going to be open to everyone, and anyone who wants to just even listen in as to what it's all about, and perhaps even be able to refer someone if they themselves are not interested or not capable of fostering. There's definitely a way for everyone to contribute to the program and to the campaign.
Well, we got you, Mayor. So anytime you need help with getting the word out, just let us know, and we'd be happy to help out in any way.
Once we get all the materials ready and everything to push out, I'll certainly reach out to you guys, because that'll be you'll play a key part in getting the word out. So I do appreciate it.
All right, just let me know when. Thank you so much, Mayor.
This is full not only on the, I know it's already 8 o'clock, but it's full on for the clinics, but we also have some sessions for our staff to attend regarding the child tax credit. We also have some things coming down on the rental assistance program. And so I know that many of us have received, I hear a lot from the staff, from the different offices, that residents are calling about rental assistance and so forth. And so we're certainly going to be having some meetings with the staff and the various agencies with those two programs. So there'll be a lot to share throughout the week or even by next week. So we'll keep you posted.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Have a great week. It's 7:59. We're going to take a really quick break and come back on KUAM TV next.